Previously on the Mailbox Rogues Gallery.
Hello and welcome to the Mailbox Rogues Gallery. My name's Sean.
And my name's Burch.
This is the show where every fortnight we pluck a figure from history and pop them in our metaphorical mailbox of rogues.
Why, you got some grudge with your local binman?
I've been at war with this guy for years. I've got this bin held above my head. I'm going, I've got a full bin. I see the back of the bin open. I'm quite a good shot. It lands in the windscreen of the bin lorry. Killed the binman who was his dad. And after that, I just found every week he was a bit off with me.
Right, Birch, I've actually got a surprise letter. Do you remember a couple of episodes ago we talked about some problems you were having with your bin man?
Yes, yeah, that's right, yeah.
He's brought it up, so it just starts, Dear James Bastard Bird. Truth be told, I am not best pleased with you. You have ruined my life. I look forward to your response, however, as my heart is not filled only with bitterness. Deep down, I know you could be a decent bloke.
Could be.
I mean, I feel like...
Could be. Fuck off. Fuck right off. He started a war.
He started a war, did he?
He has started a bin war.
You've been cagey ever since you got back from that meeting with the binman. So what were you doing there all that time?
I went to his house. Look, I know you can be a pain in the arse sometimes. Okay, but let's just put it behind us. We somehow ended up fighting in his kitchen. I did stab him 23 times with a butcher knife.
And 22 wasn't enough?
No.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
What does that sound like to you? That sounds like sirens to me.
Yeah. Hello?
James Burch,
Yes?
you're nicked.
Another fine mess you've gotten me into.
Not only did he survive, he's now testifying against us. We're both going down for quite a long time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You never know. Maybe by the time we get out of this crazy situation, we'll be better friends than ever.
Present day.
Fucking hell, Birch, such an idiot. Always late. Spent my whole life waiting for this moron. Oh, I might as well record the intro. Hello, and welcome to the Mailbox Rogues Gallery. You haven't heard from us for a little while, and we will explain that in just a moment. I'm just currently about to get in touch with my good friend and co-host, Burch. He should be along any minute now. We're actually going to be recording this over Zoom, and any second he should be joining me on the Zoom meeting.
Hello?
Hello, mate. I got you.
Hey, Sean, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad, mate. It's good to speak to you.
God, it's good to speak to you and also see you as well. It's amazing.
It is, isn't it? It's the wonder of technology. How are you?
Great. I mean, all the better for not having to contact you by letter and carrier pigeon for once. So it's nice to be able to converse normally. I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
It's been a few years, and yeah, like you say, mostly been carrier pigeon letters from our separate prisons, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Yep. Little truffles going backwards and forwards, from my prison to yours. But he's been making the journey and we've been getting our letters.
Yes, we have been getting the letters. We did mention prison. We'll just fill in our listeners in case they didn't catch the end of the last series that we did. We actually both got sent to prison because of a certain crime that you committed, which was attempting to murder your binman.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay. Yeah. And obviously we signed the standard podcaster's blood oath. So our agreement was that we'd both go down for any one crime that one of us committed. But just going back a second there, you did say allegedly then.
Yeah.
But you did plead guilty as well, didn't you?
Sure. Why would I plead guilty for for something that I'm not guilty of?
Right. Well, I mean, I wasn't guilty of it because you actually did attempt to murder the binman, and I pled guilty because that was, part of the pact that we made, the blood oath.
You pled guilty,
and you pled innocent, I assume. Right.
Oh God.
Okay, well that would explain why you got sent to a minimum security prison, and I've spent 3 years in the penal colony of Australia.
Well, yeah, but Australia.
Yeah, where did you think I've been these last few years?
The country?
The very same.
We've been conversing by carrier pigeon.
We have, yes.
Do you mean to tell me that Truffles has been travelling fucking thousands of miles delivering letters every time we've spoken?
Well, definitely the first time that's what happened. As for all the times after that, I'm afraid I've actually got some bad news.
What?
After the first time, Truffles pretty much just dropped dead.
What?
Right after she delivered the message. And, kudos on teaching the pigeon to speak, by the way. That's very impressive. But yeah, delivered the message, dropped dead. So I just tend to send you back a new pigeon each time.
We've sent over 100 letters to one another.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that every time that we've sent letters back and forth, it's been a different Truffles?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they weren't all pigeons, to be honest. Like, if I couldn't find a pigeon, I'd often send you a cockatoo or a parrot.
I mean, they say travel changes a person, broadens the mind. I just assumed that Truffles was, changing, becoming more of the Truffles that they were inside.
You sort of imagined that Truffles was evolving like a Pokemon might.
Well, yeah, basically.
Leveling up, yeah. No, sorry. Different birds each time.
God, I mean, it's sad, really, when you think about it. I mean, all those pigeons and cockatoos, we mustn't forget, wrongfully killed, like from exhaustion. I've got pigeon blood on my hands from that. I've had to come to prison to commit a crime. That's the irony here.
That is ironic, yeah. I mean, you did commit the crime before. Yeah, I know, allegedly.
Right, that's enough about dead pigeons. Let's change the subject. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I mean, not too bad, all things considering. We're basically at the start of a brand new civilization over here. I'm mostly surrounded by other convicts. They tend to be in for worse crimes than me, thievery, murder, assault, grand larceny. They do get a bit of a laugh when I tell them that I'm here, just because I went down for a crime you committed.
Yeah, I can see where that would get a chuckle.
Actually, when I tell them that you've pled innocent and end up in a minimum security prison, they're going to love that even more. That's going to be a bit of a joke.
Well, I mean, well, no, they don't know me, so it's not going to be as funny if you tell them about me. So maybe don't.
No, I suppose it would make me more of a laughing stock. But yeah, it's we're out here. We're in the baking Australian sun, just about getting society off the ground. How about you?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned baking hot sun. God, I can relate. I mean, things aren't a picnic here either. To be completely honest with you, like, God, last summer, belter. It's the hottest summer that we've had in ages. The duvets that we have on our beds, highest TOG rating.
Right.
Couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah. You've got duvets, do you? That sounds nice. Yeah, I had a duvet. I had to kill about 4 wombats and I sort of stitched together their pelts. So that was quite nice during the freezing nights. But one of the guards actually stole it from me because they don't have duvets either.
Right. Okay. So what's your sleeping arrangement now then? What you got?
Pretty much, at the end of a long day's death march, wherever I just lay my head, a rock, a bit of, like a tussock. Sometimes I lay my head on a tussock.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm lucky. Yeah. But more often than not, it's probably a rock.
God, you mentioned death march. I mean, I feel like I do a few of those every day. I mean, the elevator's broken here, right? Has been for a week. No one's been to fix it, right? And we've been having to use the stairs.
Right.
About 3 floors to this place, and I'm on the top floor. So
right.
getting anywhere is it is a death march in itself.
Yeah. No, we have to walk a couple of miles a day for some water. Muddy, brown, disease-ridden water, yeah. So, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Cool, we've certainly had it tough, haven't we?
Yes, I certainly have.
Yes, we certainly have.
I haven't seen you since the trial. Obviously, we've got tried separately, separate lawyers, separate pleas. So how else have you been? Any prison stories?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been hellish from the off, to be completely honest with you. I mean, like, even from day one, the trial, of course, happened. They sentenced me to my prison sentence, despite me pleading my innocence. They didn't want to hear it, bureaucracy.
I mean, there was the bloodied binman there testifying against you.
Yeah, but I mean, My argument was, if he was so injured, what's he doing out and about?
Right. So your argument was just the fact that you didn't finish the job in killing him was proof that you didn't attempt to kill him.
My lawyer, right, he had this idea. I splashed out for the best possible lawyer that I could.
Didn't you get OJ's lawyer? You got Francis Lee Bailey, didn't you?
I did, yeah, Francis Lee Bailey. Yeah, he was my lawyer for that. When I get out of here, I'm not going to have a single penny to my name because I just put it all into getting this lawyer. I thought, fucking hell, if I have him...
If you could get OJ Simpson off, what can he do for you?
Exactly. Well, that's what I thought. So I said to him, look, I know you're good at what you do. How the fuck do we get away with this? And he was like, look, so you stabbed him 20 times, yeah? And I was like, allegedly. And he was like, allegedly, good, yeah, you're learning. I was like,
yeah, good stuff.
And he said, so he's gonna be afraid of knives, surely. I said, well, yeah, it stands to reason. He pulls out a knife and he says, look, when you're up on the stand, right, talking, and he sat there, like for the prosecution, when you're walking back to your desk, what you have to do is you have to pull out the knife and threaten him with it.
Right, yeah. So he gets the message.
No, he was saying that if he starts like screaming and panicking, then that would prove that he has been traumatized by knives. But if he keeps his calm, if he's cool and composed, then that proves that he hasn't been traumatized by a knife and that I can go away scot-free. I was like, well, it's worth it. If you say that it's going to work, he's like, yeah, trust me. So there we are. You know, I'm kind of pleading my defense. Lawyers talking to me saying, you didn't do it, did you? I was like, no, I was somewhere else. And you're like, yeah, you were.
Not very specific.
Well, he that was another point of his. He said less specificity is good, is what he was saying. It gives the
Yeah.
jury less to kind of like cling on to against me.
Do you think he's off his game a bit since OJ?
I mean, since I've been spending the last few years in prison, I've been wondering that, yeah. It has crossed my mind, I'll be honest. So, anyway, I'm talking to the lawyer. He's like, no further questions. So, I've got the knife in my back pocket, right? I walk past his table. I look him in the eyes. I pull out the knife. I end up slicing my arse on the knife as I do it, right? All this blood and arse meat flies across the courtroom. I point the knife at him. Do you know what he does? He ends up screaming and panicking, hides under his desks. A load of security guards tackle me to the ground. I'm like, no, I was just testing. But no, they didn't want to hear it.
No.
The trial was meant to go on like another like month at least, but the judge was like, well, after that, I've fucking seen enough. It's clear that you've got issues with this man. And then he sentenced me there and then. And then afterwards, I said to my lawyer, I was like, fucking, why did I let you convince me to do that? And he was like, I've no idea, mate.
That's not what you want to hear from your lawyer. That's not what you want to hear, is it?
That is the last thing you want to hear from a lawyer. He knew that his job was done now, so he didn't give two shits.
Yeah.
He didn't care one bit. He was like, look, all right, last bit of advice that I'll give you, right, before you set off to prison. Look, whatever you do in the prison showers, do not drop the soap.
Right.
I said, what do you mean by that? He was like, look, got other places I got to be, I got to go.
I mean, that's a very cryptic message he left you with, isn't it? I can't think what that would have meant.
No, not at all. And so there I was, you know, like last tea before I went to prison with my dad, you know, took me McDonald's.
Oh, that's nice. Happy meal?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a sad time. So, I mean, what better meal to set me off with?
Yeah. Did they let you bring the toy in to prison or like?
You know what? The bastards, they didn't. They confiscated it at the door.
That is a shame.
Some prison warden's probably playing with it now. But anyway, I was there at McDonald's. I was like telling my dad everything. He was like, look, little bit of advice. When you go in there, you just got to make sure when you're in the showers, don't drop the soap. I was like, F. Lee Bailey told me that as well. What is this? What is it about the soap? He was like, look, I don't want to go over it anymore. I don't want to say any more than that, but just bear that in mind. Just finish your Happy Meal and we can go. So I was like, all right, mysterious, fine, okay.
But presumably, at this point, you've taken the words to heart.
Well, yeah, I'm playing it in my mind, like, what the hell could they possibly be talking about? I haven't the foggiest. But so they take me to prison, right? They drive me in, walk through. You know, it's a bit of a hectic morning, and I'm a bit sweaty at this point.
Yeah, and it's always stressful, like getting acquainted with a new environment, new people.
Exactly, yeah. So, you know, I go in there and I'm a bit sweaty, so I decide, you know, now's a good time to make use of the spa that they have here. And
the spa? You've got a spa?
Yeah. Where else would we wash?
Right. I mean, are you just talking prison showers or what? hot tub, jacuzzi,
Yeah.
sauna.
Yeah, all those.
You've got those, right?
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Why do you have just the sauna at yours? Do you?
No. What we've got is, you probably call it more of a ditch.
Right.
Sometimes it might go like a month or two without rain in the outback. But yeah, I mean, every now and then that ditch will fill up nicely with some mud. So we just sort of roll about in that.
So anyway, so I was a bit sweaty, so I went into the shower. So there I am, washing myself. All these other people in there with you, washing myself with some soap. What do? I drop the soap.
Unbelievable. You've been warned.
Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident. Very slippery.
Yeah.
So there I am. I drop it on the floor, and then I'm like, instantly, I'm like, oh, did the one thing my dad and F. Lee Bailey told me not to do. So I look around, and I'm like nervous, like what the hell's going to happen? So I was like, okay, maybe I should bend down to pick it up. And
Are you okay there, mate?
sorry, it's difficult. It's difficult to remember this. Not a good time.
No, I'm here for you though. I mean, not physically, but I am.
Thanks. Yeah, and as I'm bending down to pick it up, I look across and I see this guy. Big guy, he's like 6'3", he's like twice as wide as me. He sees me that I've dropped the soap. He smiles. And then do you know what he did?
No, what did he do?
Turned to all of his mates, said, look at that idiot, he just dropped the soap.
Right.
Everyone turns round and looks at me. They're all laughing.
Yeah.
I felt like a right twat.
Humiliated. Yeah. Oh, that's not the impression you want to make on your first day.
No, not at all. They still call me Soapy to this day.
Yeah, I mean, you've had worse nicknames. I mean, back home, we used to call you all sorts of much worse nicknames than that, didn't we? Shitty and stinky and sucky. I mean, I don't think Soapy's that bad, to be honest.
No, I guess not. But maybe it's like the tone that they use, all right, Soapy.
Yeah, because we were always very kind when we said it to you. There's a little twinkle in my eye when I call you stinky or shitty.
Yeah, it was always, you always said shitty with love, you could tell.
But these guys...
Just, yeah, the tone and the fact that they're big guys, very intimidating people.
Yeah, well, you were warned.
I was warned, and, that's just the tip of the iceberg with how it's been. That's a taster.
Well, I was just thinking, you mentioned before about your interactions with your lawyer, with F. Lee Bailey, and I know before the knife gambit, he did pull out one of his old gambits as well, which was the one he used with OJ, wasn't it? The old, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Yep, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah. I mean, the problem was, as I recall, that the gloves he brought out were rubber gloves.
Yeah.
And they actually fit you very well. They sort of fit everybody, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's the thing with a rubber glove. Yeah, they fit perfectly. So I was banged to rights.
Yeah. And you're allergic to rubber as well, aren't you?
Oh, my hands ballooned up like, balloons.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's why you had that issue with the knife later on in the proceedings, where you sort of like ended up stabbing yourself and all of that.
That probably was the issue. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the artist doing the courtroom sketch, drawing me with two massive fucking hands and a knife sticking out of my arse. I mean, I was already banged to rights. I was already, like, at my lowest point. She didn't have to do that. No,
I know. And I saw it on the front page of the paper the next day, and I did think to myself, what a mess this guy's got himself into.
Oh, I know. It's... What can you do?
Well, you can get sent to prison.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's me. How have things been with you over there?
Yeah, I mean, not bad. I mean, it took us about 4 months to get here on the ship.
Right.
Most of the people I was shipped over with died. So obviously just like crawling out under a pile of dead bodies once we got to land. Yeah, that wasn't a lot of fun. Did I mention this? I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I'm actually still in the handcuffs. Did I say that?
No, sorry, I can't see your bottom half in the Zoom video. So you're still wearing the handcuffs?
Yeah, I just got my hands handcuffed behind my back. Problem was, right, they left the key to the handcuffs in England before they shipped us off. Actually, it reminds me, I've got a nickname too out here, which is Bitey, because like I've got no access to my hands or anything, so I'm usually just sort of biting things, biting people. Getting bitten a lot, actually, by snakes and spiders.
Right.
Yeah, bitey.
Biting people, you say? Is there much call for that?
Yeah, actually, I mean, once a month we do this sort of Hunger Games Battle Royale kind of situation where the guards sort of take us out and put us in this big paddock, like free-range chickens, and we just sort of fight each other to the death. Yeah, so, I mean, like I say, handcuffs behind the back. I've really only got my mouth to use. In my mind, I'm the star. What's her face? What's her face from Hunger Games? Catnip or something?
Yeah, catnip. That's her name, Catnip.
Yeah. So I'm just running around biting people, and I've sort of formed a bit of a gang myself here. Actually, I've got these twins. I've managed to round up all the twins. It's me. I'm the leader, and I've got Kylie and Danny Minogue.
Kylie and Danny Minogue.
Yeah. Did you not know they were in here with me? I thought I'd put that in one of my letters.
I might have. We sent a lot of letters to each other. If I missed one or two, that's on me. But Kylie and Danny Minogue, I never would have thought them to be the type.
Oh yeah, mate. They're like the Cray twins of Australia. They are brutal gangsters. Yeah. Oh, they're always cutting thumbs off and singing about it.
Oh my God.
That's how they got caught. They released a few songs about their nefarious deeds. They're in the studio. They're always in the studio. That's where they run their criminal operations from. Who knows whether the recording button's on when you're singing about your misdeeds. The record executives were there. They just hot off the press, put it straight on the radio. Before you knew it, their confessions were being broadcast to the nation. It got to number 1, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah. When they get out of prison, they're going to be doing very well, if they ever get out.
I mean, I guess it's like they say, like deep down, prisoners do want to be caught. Sometimes criminals will return to the scene of a murder that they've committed. Sometimes they'll record, a multi-platinum selling single. I mean, it's just in us. It's human nature.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You do have to ask whether they wanted to get caught. Me and the other set of twins, the Hemsworth twins, we've got our doubts.
Not Chris and Liam.
Yeah, Chris and Liam, and there's the third twin as well, Quentin.
So what are they in there for?
Well, they're bank robbers, obviously.
Right. Okay. I guess you need someone you can trust when you rob a bank, and like who better than your own brother?
Yeah, brothers. There's three of the twins. 3 of the twins are here. I think there's a 4th twin out there somewhere, but
right. I was going to mention that earlier. Now your use of the word twin here. Now, my understanding is that a twin is only 2.
I think it's a little bit like, when you drive through like a country village and it's like twinned with a place in France. I think it's that sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
They're twinned with each other.
But they're not conjoined twins.
Not anymore. Not since the incident.
Incident? What is this? Did this happen in prison?
Yeah, this was part of the Hunger Games scenario. I actually accidentally, because they're in my gang, so we're all facing off against the rest, backs against the wall. We've got a wall here now. It's taken us years to build it.
Oh, nice.
But I accidentally sort of bit through them.
How could you accidentally bite through someone?
Well, we're not getting into the details, but they're actually happier post-conjoined, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so long as there wasn't any issues with that. I'll call it a procedure, even though it was essentially you gnawing through another human being. I'm sure they're very thankful for that then, presumably.
As a gang, we fight a lot better. Now we can cover more angles. We can face more directions. We're better for it. They're better for it. All 3 of them. I've needed it, to be honest. I've needed the help. What with my arms being behind my back. It's quite difficult to do much. I probably shouldn't mention this on the recording because I don't know about your end, but my end, the guards are recording this.
Yeah, same here.
I've actually been digging my way out. And they've helped a lot with that, actually, because with the hands behind the back, it's not easy. So, we've got these cells. Again, everything's quite basic. So we've got 3 walls, but there's no door or ceiling. We haven't had those shipped over yet. So I've been digging my way out of the back of my cell that I share with these 3 twins. And I sort of stand up against the wall with my hands behind my back, handcuffed there. And I've sort of just been digging my way out underneath this poster, right? I've been digging a hole underneath behind this poster. Then what I do is, as the rubble kind of falls to the ground, one of those twins, they'll just swoop in and gobble it up.
Gobble it up?
Yeah. Well, it's a good situation we've worked out. I give them all the rubble that they can eat, and they give me their rations. That way I keep up my strength for digging, and they get to eat, all the sort of grit and rubble that they like.
Right. Now, I don't want to unnecessarily criticise your operation you've got going there. But I would say I would have thought that it would have made more sense to have the one with the name Bitey doing the chomping up of the dirt, and maybe having someone who doesn't have their hands tied behind their back doing the digging.
Well, now that you mention that, you're really making me rethink the whole operation now.
I'm sorry. I hope I've not thrown a spanner in the works too much.
No. This is the problem. As a gang, I'm the leader, but there's no brains to the operation. I mean, I'm not the brains, definitely not. I mean, they don't mind eating rubble and grit. They're kind of tough Australian men. They're salt of the earth. Where I'm from the land of wine and roses.
Right. I would have pinned Danny down to be the brains of the outfit personally.
Well, no, but Danny's not in our cell.
Oh, right.
She's in the gang. Her and Kylie are in the gang, but they're in the cell next door.
Right.
Yeah, they dug their own tunnel, but unfortunately, they just went into the cell next door. So maybe not. Maybe they're not the brains of the operation.
God. I mean, having the Minogues in the cell next to you. I mean, you must be thinking that how you should be so lucky.
And honestly, sometimes I just feel like I'm spinning around.
And I mean, like, especially for you as well. It must be quite something.
Is that one of her songs?
It is, especially for you. It's a song that she did with Jason Donovan.
Nice. He's in here too.
Is it Jason Donovan? Oh my God. Is every person in Australia in this prison? Or just everyone who's been in Home and Away or Neighbours at some point in their lives?
Well, yeah, them too, but only by virtue of everybody in Australia being in, it's a penal colony. Everybody here is a criminal to some degree.
Right, okay, I see.
Jason Donovan, he used to run that Donovan, didn't he? He used to sell kebabs.
Right, Jason's Donovan.
And they shut him, the health department shut him down. He gave food poisoning to all those 8-year-olds.
Jesus.
I mean, what 8-year-olds were doing buying doner kebabs at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, I'll never know.
No.
But, after they all got ill, some of them died, he ended up in prison over here. And, I said when I read about it in the news, I said, lock him up. Lock that man up. Throw the book at him. And I do. Every time I see him, if he goes past, I'll throw a book at him. So this tunnel is going okay. Like I said, I've got it behind this poster. Actually, we picked, because there's 4 of us in the cell, we had to decide on what poster we were going to use to cover up the tracks of our tunnel. So I opted for Raquel Welch in A Million Years BC, in that like fur bikini. That was the poster I wanted on the wall.
We watched that the other night.
You watched what? Oh, A Million Years BC, yeah.
Yeah, we watched it at the prison film night the couple of weeks ago now. That's a good coincidence.
Film night, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a multiplex or anything. It's like a projector and about, I think, like 30 seats, something like that. It's like a little independent cinema. It's nothing fancy.
Surround sound?
Well, yeah, you can't watch A Million Years BC without surround sound.
Right. I mean, it sounds nice, to be honest.
It's all right. It's not too bad. But sorry, I was interrupting. Go on.
Well, anyway, that was the poster I wanted on the wall. Hemsworths banded together and outvoted me, so we've ended up with a poster of Miss Piggy.
Oh, I see, Miss Piggy.
Yeah, they love her. They think she's great.
Like because I guess you went for like a traditional kind of sexy woman kind of poster.
Let me stop you there, Burch. I'll just you might not know this about Australians, but Miss Piggy is your archetypal sexy woman for Australians.
Right, I was going to ask. So they had the same mindset, but literally went for a pig puppet.
Yeah, I mean, they take exception to you demeaning her with those words, but
I didn't mean to. I do apologise if that's how it came across.
No, you're right. I mean, she is literally a puppet, or a muppet, technically, if we're going to get technical, which they like to.
What do you mean by that?
This is just an argument we've been having. Like most nights, I'm on the top bunk. I'm trying to drift off.
Yeah.
The 3 of them are on the bottom bunk. And, they're just always bringing up this argument, is a Muppet a puppet? Is a puppet a Muppet? It's just these conversations. These conversations just go round and round and round.
Yeah, I've had a few long dark nights of the soul like that myself.
Anyway, so they outvoted me, and Miss Piggy's the poster we got on the wall, and the tunnel's behind that. So, if I ever get out of here, I'll look you up.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I never really thought about that tunneling. Problem is, I've got the penthouse cell on the top floor.
Right.
So I mean, if I tunneled out, I'd fall about 3 floors.
Yeah. Good views from there?
Yeah, I mean, there's some countryside. You see a bit of the sea. You know, falcons gliding majestically across the sky. Herds of deer, you know, roaming and trampling along the fields of grass beneath their feet.
Wow. Grass. God, I haven't seen grass in years. No. No, we don't have any of that out here. It's just out in the outback. It's just kind of sand and dirt and mud.
We've both had a hard time of it. We really have.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't want to have to say this, mate, but I actually think I've had a hard time of it. It doesn't really sound like you have at all.
What? What are you talking about? We both had we're both in prison.
Yeah, but the situation's quite different, really, isn't it? I mean, you have your cinema room and your spa.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Wait, are you drinking white wine?
It's only Chardonnay.
So anyway, mate, it's been lovely talking to you.
Been lovely talking to you too.
You know, this is the first chance we've had. I've not been allowed to use the recording equipment so far. That might change, actually. I've just struck up a bit of a bargain with the warden. I'm going to do his taxes for him, and in exchange, he's going to let me carry on using the recording equipment. So, you know, maybe we could do this quite regularly. Hopefully, the situation remains the same. I have been... I mean, you know me. I don't know anything about taxes. So I'm telling him I'm doing them, but really I'm just like... I'm filling out the boxes, but I'm making most of it up. So... You know, if God forbid he ever files any tax returns, you know, this
You're screwed.
Yeah, we may not be able to keep doing this. But until then, you know, do you want to have another chat again next week?
You know what? I'd love to, because ultimately, you know, I've had a good time. You've had a good time, but we also have to remember the fans.
The fans, yeah.
You know,
the legions.
The legions of fans that we had with our podcast before. You know. It wasn't just a bit of fun. We really built up a community, you know, of people who laughed, cried, and just like felt part of something with this podcast. So for the people that have been sorely missing this American life, I really think that we should bring it back to the masses.
Yeah, but we don't make this American life.
What?
No, that's Ira Glass. That's a different person making that. We make the Mailbox Rogues Gallery.
You know what it is? I think the fact that it's been so long since we last recorded, for some reason, I convinced myself that we recorded this American life. Huh. Funny what prison can do to a man.
Yeah. I mean, if this is the extent of your psychological trauma, you've not done bad.
No, I guess not. I guess not. Yeah. Okay. Rogues. What was it again?
Mailbox Rogues Gallery.
Mailbox Rogues Gallery. Okay, I can remember that for next time.
Yeah, and actually, while we're on the subject, if anybody is listening to this, if the guards do ever release this recording...
Oh, God, I hope not.
No, well, if they do, anybody listening should rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts, right?
Yeah, you know what, now that you mention it, there was something we used to do at this point, wasn't it? What was it? I think we used to... it was something like... Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, you can contact us in a number of different ways. You can contact us by email at mailboxroguesgallery@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where our handle is @mailboxrogues. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and your podcast player of choice.
And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating and a review, because that helps the podcast grow.
I think we said something like that. It might have been not quite verbatim, but...
Yeah, sounds familiar. Yeah. Okay, well, look, I've been doing a good bit of reading here in prison. I've learned a lot about this chap you might have heard of called Sigmund Freud. Do you fancy having a chat about him next week?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else to say to you.
Yeah, I've got a manicure booked in for about 10 minutes' time, so I should probably get going.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we've got the next Hunger Games starting soon, so yeah, if I survive that, I'll see you next week.
Good luck, Bitey.
You too, Soapy.
Toodles.
Bye.